here we are in section 4.6. Now, 4.6 is all about input validation loops, and you'll see as you get to use these that you'll love them. It's great, and it stems from the fact that the computer can't tell the difference between good data and bad data. So if our user is providing bad input, the program is going to produce bad output. So garbage in, garbage out. So there we go. So what we're going to do, and let me give you a quick example for this. If we're looking for a test score from a user, and we know that the test was out of 100 points, and so we're looking for a score between 0 and 100. So we're inputting something like, for example, into a grading program. Now, if the user, as they're entering the scores in, and it gets to a point where you say, hey, I need to type the score in, and I type in 95, right? So that falls in the range. But what if I have an accidental typo and I accidentally put 995? If the user isn't notified that, hey, there's an error here, that's going to impact the entire score, the average of the scores for the semester, as this extra, those extra 900 points are calculated into our average. So that could be a real issue. And so the way that we're going to do that is we're going to add a test in here, and we're going to check the user input. So let me go ahead and go over here. And as we are inspecting the input from the user, we're going to help them. And so if data is entered that is incorrect, then we're going to say, hey, wait a second. We're going to give them a little error message and say, oh, it needs to be within this range, 0 to 100. Please try again, those kinds of things. And the way to do this, a really easy way of doing this is with the while loop. Now, the while loop will keep going as long as the input is bad, giving them that little error message, asking them to input the right data. So the messaging is important so that they know what is wrong. So very important for that. So anyway, and you'll see this in some of numbers, and you'll use it in some of your other programs too. But I wanted to show you an example of this. And so if we take a look at this, it's not a full program, but you get an idea here. So here we are asking for score. And we're looking for score, and you see the while loop here. While score is less than 0 or score is greater than 100. So outside of this range of 0 to 100. And while that is true, then what will happen is you get an error message. Here's our error message. So the score cannot be negative or greater than 100. And it asks for it again. Enter the correct score. Now you can give more information there if you'd like. Anything you can do to help the user out. And if it's in the right range, then it completely skips this part outside the loop and just continues to do whatever. So let's take a look at this. All right, quickly here. And here we are. We've got our piece here. So enter test score, blah, 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 all this kind of good stuff. So you can see this is executing here. And I'm going to go ahead and enter a test score. So if I enter a test score of 59. I have no idea why, but let's just say that's my score I tried to enter. I'm going to hit submit there. I'm going to hit next. Notice how it's hitting this while the score is this. Da, da, da. Boom, it's going to now give me this error message because it's outside of this 0 to 100 that we're looking for. So here's the message that the user gets. Score could be negative or greater than 100, and it's going to prompt for the correct score. So now on this one, if I entered, 88, hit submit. Here we go. It's going to come back. Here I have this piece in here, 88, which of course is in our range. So when it checks it here, it's going to simply skip outside the loop all the way down to line 10 because this is obviously not true. So we can skip it. And then we're going to come down here and it'll just say program continues, and that's it. Okay, so this is our input validation. We were able to toy with this a little bit with our decision structures, some of the if statements that we wrote last chapter. But if you remember from last chapter, we could give them the error message and say what was wrong, but then they'd have to execute the program again. With this, it will continue to loop as long as they're entering incorrect data until they do it correctly. And so it's a great way to check and sort of nudge users along the right path. So our messaging is very important as you write these things. So don't forget about that. You have to tell them what they're doing wrong. You can't just say error and that's it, right? They have no idea what they're doing. So anyway, so it's kind of a fun tool. I like this tool a lot. So I hope you enjoy it.